Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Furlong, and today we're talking hormonal control. Today we're going to take a look at how hormones are controlled in the body. And before we do that, however, I just want to go through and take a look at the major glands in the human body as to where these hormones are made. The brain plays a major role in controlling hormones, and specifically there's a part of the brain called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is constantly monitoring everything that's happening inside the body. And whenever things get out of whack, it's going to either cause new hormones to be made or it's going to tell other hormones to not be made. The hypothalamus often talks with the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland has been called the master gland because it does play a major role in controlling all of the other glands in the body. So a few other major glands that we're going to take a look at in the next video are going to be the pineal gland, the thyroid gland in the throat. Now on the thyroid gland there are other cells making up the parathyroid gland. In the chest is the thymus gland. The kidney, although technically not a gland, it is involved with filtering out the blood, does produce some hormones. So we will talk about that. On top of the kidney is the adrenal gland, producing adrenaline, hormone that you're probably familiar with. There is the pancreas behind the stomach, and then depending on the gender, either ovaries or testes, although they do produce some of the same hormones. An analogy for how hormones are controlled is kind of like our thermostat in our house. We might set our thermostat at 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Think of the thermostat as the hypothalamus of your house. It's constantly monitoring the temperature. If the temperature starts to decrease, say down to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, well, the thermostat is then going to send an electrical current that's going to go to your furnace that is going to cause the furnace to come on. It's going to heat up the air, and it's going to bring the house temperature back up to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the normal set point. Once it's at that set point, it's going to shut everything off. And what you really have is sort of like a negative feedback system, which is our first type of control. Well, there's three ways in which hormones can be controlled. Most hormones are controlled by what is called a negative feedback system. So what we're going to do here is make a flow chart. This is just going to be a very generic description as to how hormones are controlled. It starts with the hypothalamus. Remember, that's the part of the brain that's constantly doing some monitoring. Well, let's say that it needs to start making a hormone. So the hypothalamus is going to be talking to the pituitary gland, and it's going to do that by producing a releasing hormone. And we oftentimes refer to these as RHs. This releasing hormone will go to the pituitary gland, and so it tells the pituitary gland you need to release a hormone. And it specifically, depending on the releasing hormone, will tell the pituitary gland which hormone to release. So the pituitary gland is going to release that hormone. We're just going to call it hormone X for now. That goes into the bloodstream. It goes all throughout the body, but it can only affect the specific target cells that it's designed for. So it goes to its target cell, and that target cell, which is again going to be in some gland, is going to start producing the hormone. So we'll just refer to this as hormone Q. Why not? Hormone Q is going to cause some changes to take place. It's going to set the thermostat back to the right spot. Once everything is back to normal, that will tell the hypothalamus, okay, we need to stop producing the releasing hormone, which the pituitary gland stops the production of hormone X, which stops getting to the target gland producing hormone Q. So in essence, what has happened here is we've stopped the production of a hormone, hence a negative feedback system. The second type is called a positive feedback system. Now this is fairly rare. It does happen, obviously, but most of the time hormones are controlled by a negative feedback system. But there's certainly a lot of similarities here. It starts off with the hypothalamus, again detecting everything that's going on inside the body, and it is going to talk to the pituitary gland. Now it can do this by sending a nerve impulse. That nerve impulse, of course, is going to the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is going to then release some hormones, let's say hormone A. that goes to the target gland, which then is going to cause the production of hormone B. So as hormone B is on the increase, the hypothalamus is going to detect this, and it's going to cause increased levels of a releasing hormone to be released. That is going to be going to the pituitary gland. But this time, the pituitary gland is going to produce a new hormone, hormone C. So notice the difference here. In a negative feedback system, the increased levels of a hormone stop the production of the releasing hormone. In this case, it is causing the production of another hormone. Pretty complicated, I know. This new hormone that's being made then is going to go to the target organ, and then is going to cause whatever changes that need to take place. Finally, the third way that hormones are controlled is through the nervous system. So we know that nerve impulses can go right to the gland, causing that gland to release their hormones. Fairly simple. So that's basically, in a nutshell, how hormones are controlled. So I hope that clears things up a little bit. In the next video, we're going to take a look at specific hormones and what they do. And I'll see you then.